What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is The Flash, Season 4, Episode 20, Therefore She Is. So, I just really wanted to continue, I guess, on this kind of train of just doing one episode reviews again, because while Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I was able to do them together because it really is a running story. The CW shows typically are a bit more episodic based. So it really is, this episode is talking about this, and then this episode is talking about this. And while there is a running story going on most of the time, a lot of it is it's based on one particular thing in each episode. So for this episode, it's mainly focused on Marlize and kind of seeing how she and Clifford met and their relationship together. And while it was good, it also created, in my opinion, some issues with their characters right now. Because it seemed as though they had this idea of enlightenment to sort of make everybody, I guess, dumber, less reliant on technology, which by the end of the episode we can see why she agreed to go along with it too. Because at first she's like, it's technology, you're talking about radical, like, revolution against technology, and he's completely for it. And then, of course, she ends up dealing with some people who attacked something because they were looking for technology. And so she kind of realizes, okay, maybe he's right about this. And so she does agree to go along with him by the end of the flashbacks, which, it was a very well told story. But the problem is, it does create kind of a conflict currently, because we saw he was already kind of crazy even before he got hit with the dark matter device. And in my opinion, it seemed throughout most of the season as though the dark matter had been slowly turning him more and more insane, which is why she seemed to be getting more and more scared of him and slowly turning against him as the season went on. So, I don't know. In my opinion, the fact that they showed us that flashback and he was already kind of losing it, in my opinion, makes me think, well, then why was she so like, oh my gosh, what's become of you? He was already halfway there. The dark matter just pushed him the rest of the way to the point where he's willing to make sacrifices like killing innocent civilians in order to complete his goals and objectives. And like I said, I just feel as though that still kind of aligns with what we saw from him earlier. And so the fact that Marlize is all of a sudden going, oh wait, no, now I don't agree with this. I don't know. I kind of feel like that is a little bit of a problem. It is kind of a plot hole that they've created. Not necessarily like a major one, not something that's ruining the story for me by any stretch of the imagination, but it does sort of make me think, it really could have done that better. You could have handled that situation a lot better. So with that being said, looking at the rest of this episode, it's mainly about the team just trying to stay on track with DeVoe and trying to keep up with his plans. They try to get Gypsy to help out, but she and Cisco are having a bit of a rift because Cisco is asked to be the breacher and he doesn't want to, and she doesn't want him to, but they're not talking about it because they don't want to talk about it. And so they're kind of slowly drifting apart. Barry tries to force the issue, and then that kind of causes an even further rift to the point where at the end of the episode they finally decide Cisco wants more, she doesn't want more, she likes it how it is. And so they end up splitting up. And I'm not like super pissed by this story. I'm also not super heartbroken by this story either. It just kind of is there. Because, like I've said about some of the other CW shows, a lot of the time the side characters get way too much focus, and all of their relationships and their friendships and their likes and their dislikes, in my opinion, gets very annoying to have to sit through so much. Cisco and Gypsy have taken on more focus this season than they have in the past, but it's still very much a side story, in my opinion, the way that the show is handling it. A lot of this season has been focused on the Thinker and Marlize, and then Barry trying to stop him, which is where the focus should be. These side stories, like with Harrison Wells and the whole his brain fading away and all that, that is also a side story, but it's part of the main story. And now Cisco and Gypsy's little relationship conflict, while not entirely interesting to me, it does play into this episode, and it is something that does affect them and keeps them from being able to work together. So, yeah, I guess it's not the worst thing. It's also not my favorite thing about the episode, but I've seen it done a lot worse too. So I got to give props that they did manage to at least throw in some relationship stuff without being extremely rage-inducing. Aside from that, we also see that apparently Harry Wells and what is her name? Is it Celine? I want to say Celine. It's been so long. Is the woman Joe is seeing? I swear, I'm gonna remember her name by the next episode. I'm gonna feel dumb for not remembering it now. But you guys know how I am with names. I'm terrible. But obviously, she's still got the mind reading stuff going on. I'd honestly forgotten about that plot point whenever I started watching this episode, and then all of a sudden Joe was like, "She's gonna read your mind." I'm like, "Oh yeah, she can do that now," and she's pregnant. Totally forgot. But he's trying to set up, of course, a baby shower, which I kind of figured. So he tries to have Harry distract her, but what's interesting is she's reading his mind, and so the thoughts he's having, like the equations he's trying to write down, she reads it and then she remembers it, even though his thoughts are kind of going away. So like he thinks of something and it's gone. He thinks of it, but she reads it and then she can still remember it. So they kind of formed a bit of a team where he would have a thought, something that made sense, and then it would go away, but she reads it and then she writes it down. So they were able to kind of figure out what DeVoe is trying to do, which in my opinion is a very clever way to use her mind reading powers, but I still want to know, how did she get them in the first place? Because still not explained very well. And then aside from that, we see Caitlin trying to get Killer Frost back. That's kind of a thrown in, like, couple scenes here and there, like she really wants to get her back. Iris is like, I want to help, and she's like, I'll get her back by myself. I'm like, okay, so you just want to be your own little thing. Whatever, I don't care. I'll be honest, like, I liked the dynamic between Caitlin and Killer Frost that they had going, but now that it's gone and she's kind of like putting the mission in danger to try to get her back, now I just kind of don't care as much anymore. Now I'm like, you're making stupid decisions. It makes me not want to see that continue anymore. And then aside from that, I think the only other story is, of course, the girl that we've been seeing throughout the season. I'm still thinking she's Barry and Iris's kid from the future. We see that she has the ability. She's a speedster. At the end of the episode, she shows up for the baby shower and has some present. So I'm just waiting for them to finally reveal it. If it's not that, then I'll probably be shocked. But I feel like they're saving the reveal of who she is until the very end, and it's going to be like, oh my gosh, guys, oh, what a crazy twist. I feel like pretty much everyone under the sun has called who that is, right? Like, I mean, obviously, she's probably been revealed by next season. Probably the last episode of this season, the last scene, is probably a cliffhanger, her being, I'm your daughter from the future. So I just feel like that's going to be the final scene that they're going to leave off on, and it's going to be like, and then season ends. So obviously don't tell me if I'm right, but I feel like that's got to be it. There's no other thing that I can think of that would be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's who it is. And it's just not as clever as I think they think it is. The writers, they're probably like, oh, nobody's going to figure this out, guys. Oh my gosh, it's going to be Barry and Iris' kid, and everybody's mind's going to be blown. And they're all just sitting there going, no, I got that. As soon as she said, I'm so happy to be here at their wedding, I'm like, yeah, she's their kid, right? That's what's going on. Mm-hmm. So anyways, with all that being said, though, it was a very interesting episode. Now on to the next one. Probably only got to do 2 at a time since there's 4 left. Split it right in half. Good math right there. Anyways, see you guys in the next episode in just a second. And now episode 21, Harry and the Harrisons. A little bit of a disappointment, mainly just considering the fact that literally last episode we ended on kind of a, ooh, what a moment, because Marlies, of course, turned her back on DeVoe and trapped him in his whatever it's called. And so I was kind of wondering, like, all right, so what's going to happen next? You know, is she going to take over his plans and keep going with his ideas, but just more, I guess, without the loss of innocent lives? Or is she just going to completely abandon him and leave him in what he's doing? I wanted answers, and we didn't get any this episode. Basically, this is just all an episode focused on Harry trying to, I guess, get a better idea of what to do, what next steps to take. So, of course, he talks to the other Harrison Wells across the different universes, which it was funny the first time they did it. It lost a little bit of its charm the second time they did it, and I think this might be the 3rd or 4th time they've done it. It's just not as funny anymore. They added a couple more, like a French one and then kind of a New York mobster one. It's just not as funny. It's one of those things where the first time it was kind of like, oh my gosh, seeing Harrison Wells be kind of dorky and kind of super genius and just, I don't know, it was funny. And now they've just overplayed it to the point where it's like, that wasn't funny at all. And then the other part of the story is Amunet. They're trying to use her help because she apparently can create a weapon of sorts that can destroy the satellites. And that's pretty much all this episode was. And it wasn't as good because they did take such a break from the plot, because they said, hang on guys, I know we were just talking about DeVoe and Marlise and now they're betraying each other, and it's kind of like, oh my gosh, this is nuts, this is crazy. And they're like, pause, take a breath. Let's focus on this little side story for an episode while we, build up to the season finale. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes you do need a little bit of levity to distract from all of the stuff going on. Sometimes you do need to take a break. This wasn't the time to do it. When things are building up so much, that last episode should have built up into the season finale. Like, it should have been keep building, and then boom, season finale. Instead of build, and then take a break. All right, now you got 2 more episodes. Build, season finale. It's going to be such a weird transition going from this episode to now we got to suddenly build up, and now it's the season finale. And oh my gosh, the intensity is high. And I'm fully looking forward to the season finale. I'm very excited to see how this is all going to play out. How much of this DeVoe is already planned for. Like, did he plan for Marlise turning on him? Did he plan for them trying to destroy the satellites? Did he plan for Iris to create this thing that's going to, this article that's going to get all of, was it Central City? I think it's Central City. All of Central City to help them out. Did he plan for all of this or not? And that's the stuff I want to know. That's the stuff I want to see more of. Not, oh, let's see Harry talking to the other Harrison Wells. And, oh, let's see more about Amunet. Let's see more of Amunet. Oh, it was such a different episode. And I don't know, I'm disappointed by it. I will admit, because I'm looking at IMDb to kind of make sure, I'm watching the right episodes and I'm getting the title. And I do kind of want to see, all right, so what are these ratings? What are they getting? And the past episode was like a 7.5 or something, but this one dropped way down to like a 6.8. I'm like, it can't be that bad, right? I mean, it's so close to the season finale. There's no way they'd have a bad episode the way things are going. I spoke too soon. So yeah, aside from that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else really of note. She creates, it's pretty much like a grenade made out of the metal that she uses, that she controls, basically pull the pin, toss it in, then boom, explosion. So that's about all that really comes out of this episode. Caitlin, apparently, she's experiencing some sort of... she's trying to get Killer Frost back still. And that was a big part of this episode as well. But by the end of it, we realized, oh, wait, so Amunet's device wasn't actually a device. It was a placebo effect? Like, what? So what does that mean? Basically, it means at some point, there's just going to be this moment where she's going to have to need Killer Frost back, and then Killer Frost is going to come back out. It's not gonna be something where they find some sort of genetic thing that, oh, we built this device and now here's Killer Frost. It's just gonna be a moment where I can't do it. She's not there. She's gone. I can't. And then, oh, she's there. Oh my gosh, guys. Oh, she's back. It's so cliche. It's building up to such a cliche end for them. They might not bring her back. If that were the case, then I'd be pretty shocked. I'd actually say, wow, okay, that's kind of mature. Sometimes you have to deal with the fact that not everything works out. But come on, it's the CW. They don't do morals like that. The worst thing they've done is kill off Barry's family. But even then, it's like, well, it's a superhero story. Most of the time, the parents don't survive anyway. So that's about it, though, for this episode. It wasn't the best. It's not the worst. It wasn't as bad as Run, Iris, Run, but it was still a pretty bad episode, and it wasn't as fun. It wasn't as intense. It just really took a downturn. So hopefully the last 2 episodes will make up for it with an amazing climax and amazing resolution. But we'll see where it's going. But anyways, that's it for these 2 episodes. So let me know what you thought down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts? We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe, future Flash reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.